If you're over 65, there's something no one really talks about. Not because it's a secret, but because they simply don't know. Every time you pour your afternoon coffee, skip your walk because it's too cold, or reach for the salt shaker without thinking. Those little moments, the ones that feel harmless, may be quietly shaping your future in ways you'd never expect. Here's the hard truth. Stroke doesn't always knock before it enters. It doesn't always give you pain, dizziness, or a headache. Sometimes it strikes in your sleep. Sometimes in the kitchen while you're buttering your toast. And when it does, it changes everything. Now here's the good news. Very good news. Doctors now agree up to 80% of strokes are preventable. Not through expensive treatments, not through complex routines, but through small, consistent habits you do each day, right from your home. I want to tell you a quick story. Eleanor is 72. 2 years ago, she had what's called a TIA, a mini stroke. It happened early one morning while she was brushing her teeth. She didn't fall, she didn't pass out, but she felt dizzy, confused. Her words came out slow. Her daughter rushed her to the hospital, and thank goodness she recovered. But Eleanor will tell you, that moment was a wake-up call. Not just for her, but for her family. She said, "I realized I was waiting for life to happen, instead of protecting the one I had." That's when she made a decision to change her daily habits, not with fear, but with love, for her brain, for her independence, and for the people who count on her. Because here's the truth. Stroke prevention isn't just about numbers on a chart. It's about staying sharp, staying steady, staying you. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 9 simple doctor-approved daily habits that protect your brain, keep your blood flowing, and help you stay independent for years to come. These habits require no gym membership, no complicated plans, just thoughtful, daily choices, starting with the most powerful place of all, your breakfast plate. Let's begin. Let's talk about breakfast. Not just what's on your plate, but what it might be doing to your brain. Have you ever wondered why doctors pay so much attention to the first thing you eat each morning? It's because your body, especially after 65, becomes more sensitive to blood sugar swings, inflammation, and pressure inside your arteries, all of which are key drivers of stroke. So here's the real question. Is your breakfast protecting you or slowly working against you? The number one culprit. Chronic low-grade inflammation. The silent kind. You can't feel it, but over time, it wears down the inner lining of your blood vessels. It thickens your blood. It raises your pressure. And it increases the chance of clots forming. Clots that can travel straight to your brain. But here's the hopeful part. Breakfast can also be your best daily defense. When built right, it sets the tone for steady energy, clean blood flow, and reduced stroke risk. So, what should breakfast look like? Start with omega-3s. These healthy fats, found in flaxseed, chia seeds, and walnuts, fight inflammation and protect artery walls. In fact, a study published in Stroke found that higher levels of ALA, a plant-based omega-3, are linked to a 27% lower risk of stroke. Just 1 tablespoon of chia seeds packs more omega-3s than a serving of salmon. Instead of toast and butter, try a bowl of oats sprinkled with ground flaxseed. Now add antioxidants, particularly from berries. Blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are packed with compounds called anthocyanins. These protect the walls of your arteries from damage caused by oxidative stress, Harvard researchers found that people who eat berries 3 times a week reduce their risk of heart attack and stroke by up to 32%. And don't forget fiber. Soluble fiber from oats helps lower LDL, the bad cholesterol, and keeps your blood vessels flexible. Just half a cup of rolled oats gives you around 4 grams of this heart-protective fiber. Here's a quick, stroke-smart breakfast you can try tomorrow. Half a cup of cooked oats, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, half a banana, sliced, half a cup of mixed berries, 5 to 7 walnuts, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt, optional. Takes about 5 minutes to make. Feeds your brain for hours. Now let's flip the script. What's hurting you? Instant-flavored oatmeal packets often contain up to 16 grams of added sugar. That's 4 teaspoons. Processed meats like bacon and sausage, full of sodium and nitrates. Even a cup of fruit juice, yes, the 100% kind, hits your blood sugar like a soda because it lacks the fiber to slow absorption. So instead of a quick sugar hit, choose a slow, steady fuel. Because what you eat in the morning doesn't just affect your energy, it affects how your blood moves, how your arteries behave, and how protected your brain really is. Tomorrow morning, ask yourself, am I feeding my future or feeding inflammation? Let breakfast be your first act of prevention. Let me ask you something simple. Have you had a glass of water today? It sounds like a small thing, right? But for people over 65, staying hydrated is one of the most overlooked and most powerful ways to lower stroke risk. Here's why. As you age, your sense of thirst becomes less accurate. You may not feel thirsty, but your body still needs water. And when you don't get enough, your blood becomes thicker, slower, stickier. That makes it harder to flow through your vessels and more likely to clot. Think of it like this. When your blood thickens, it's like traffic piling up on a narrow highway. Sooner or later, there's a jam. And if that jam happens in your brain, that's a stroke. Now, here's a number you'll want to remember. A national health study found that people who drank the most plain water had up to 25% lower stroke risk compared to those who drank the least. Just water. No pills, no programs. Just consistent hydration. So how much do you need? Aim for 6 to 8 cups a day. More if it's hot outside or you're moving around a lot. And don't wait until you feel parched. By then, you're already behind. Start your morning with a glass by your bed. Keep one in the kitchen. Set a gentle reminder on your phone if needed. This isn't about drinking gallons. It's about steady sips, all day long. Now, here's the kicker. Sugar works against hydration. When you eat too much refined sugar, from yogurts, snack bars, sweetened drinks, your body actually pulls water from tissues to balance your blood sugar. That dehydrates you even more. It's a double whammy: thicker blood and more inflammation. So instead of fruit juice, try real fruit. Instead of soda or sweet tea, try lemon water or a calming herbal tea. Because staying hydrated doesn't just support your energy. It helps your blood flow freely, your brain stay alert, and your pressure stays steady. So next time you reach for a drink, ask yourself, am I feeding my thirst or fueling the problem? Here's a habit that costs nothing, takes just 10 minutes, and could change how your brain ages. Have you ever finished a meal and gone straight to the couch? Most of us have, especially after dinner. When the day is done, the body is tired and the TV remote is nearby. But what if I told you that just 10 minutes of gentle walking after a meal could significantly lower your stroke risk? Here's how it works. After you eat, particularly foods with carbs, your blood sugar naturally rises. That's normal. But in older adults, those sugar spikes can be steeper and longer lasting. And when sugar hangs around too long, it creates inflammation, stresses your blood vessels, and increases the chance of clots forming. But movement changes the game. A study published in Diabetologia showed that walking for just 10 minutes after a meal lowered blood sugar spikes by 22%. Why? Because your muscles immediately start using that sugar for energy, instead of letting it float around, causing trouble. And the benefits go further. Post-meal walking improves blood circulation. It helps your body process food more efficiently. It lowers pressure in your arteries and even clears up that foggy feeling that sometimes creeps in after eating. Let's compare. Sitting still after dinner, lingering blood sugar, nighttime pressure buildup, walking gently after dinner, cleaner blood flow, plus better sleep, plus sharper brain. Which would you choose? And this doesn't mean going for a jog. No gym shoes or special clothes required. Just a stroll around your living room, a walk through the garden, even pacing your hallway while chatting on the phone. In fact, one viewer wrote, "After this video, my mom walked around the house 9 times after lunch. It became her new favorite habit. Small steps, big shift. Because instead of letting your meals weigh you down, this one habit helps your food work for you, not against you. So tonight, after you eat, before the TV starts, take 10 minutes. Let your body move. Let your blood flow. Let your brain breathe. That walk might be the most important thing you do all day. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you reached for the salt shaker without even thinking? It's a habit most of us picked up long ago, a dash here, a sprinkle there, especially if the food tastes a little bland. But over time, that innocent sprinkle can quietly turn into one of the most dangerous stroke triggers in your kitchen. Here's the truth. High blood pressure is the #1 controllable risk factor for stroke. And one of the biggest contributors to high blood pressure? Too much sodium. Now, most folks think, but I don't add that much salt when I cook. That may be true, but here's the catch. About 70% of the salt we eat doesn't come from the salt shaker. It comes from processed foods, canned soup, deli meats, frozen dinners, salad dressings, even cereals and veggie chips. Day after day, it adds up, and your blood vessels feel it. According to the American Heart Association, adults over 65 should aim for no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. That's just 2/3 of a teaspoon. But the average American, we're getting more than double that. And every 10-point drop in systolic blood pressure is linked to a 27% lower risk of stroke. So what can we do? Instead of focusing on what to remove, let's focus on what to add. Because flavor doesn't have to come from salt. Nature gave us powerful tools to season our food and protect our health at the same time. Garlic, for example, contains a compound called allicin, known to lower blood pressure and cholesterol. Herbs like rosemary, oregano, and thyme are rich in plant compounds that support artery health. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory. Lemon juice brightens flavor and helps reduce the craving for salt. Even extra virgin olive oil, rich in polyphenols, can bring a dish to life while fighting oxidative stress in your arteries. Let's take a simple example. Most people might roast potatoes in vegetable oil, then load on the seasoning salt. That one side dish can sneak in over 800 milligrams of sodium. But what if you swapped it out? Try roasting the potatoes in olive oil. Add minced garlic, a pinch of turmeric, some fresh rosemary, and finish with lemon juice. The flavor? Bold and satisfying. The sodium? Under 100 milligrams. Same dish, different impact. So instead of reaching for the shaker, reach for your spice rack. Experiment. Have fun. Let your taste buds rediscover real flavor. And if it tastes bland at first, give it time. Your taste adjusts. In just 2 to 3 weeks, what once seemed flat will taste just right. Because stroke prevention doesn't mean giving up the foods you love. It means learning to love them in a new way. One that feeds your heart, your brain, and your future. Here's something most people never consider. Your stroke risk doesn't pause when you go to bed. In fact, up to 1 in 4 strokes happens during sleep or in the first few hours after waking. No warning, no noise, just silence. That's why your nighttime routine, how you sleep, when you sleep, and even what you drink before bed, matters more than you might think. So let me ask, do you go to bed at the same time every night? Or does your sleep schedule shift from one day to the next? Research from the journal Neurology followed over 30,000 adults and found that irregular sleep patterns, not just short sleep but inconsistent timing, increased stroke risk by 22%. Why? Because your body has an internal clock, your circadian rhythm, that helps regulate blood pressure, hormone levels, and inflammation. When that clock gets thrown off, so does your vascular system. Now add one more layer: caffeine. You may love your afternoon coffee or evening tea, and maybe years ago it didn't bother you. But as we age, our bodies process caffeine more slowly. That cup of coffee at 3 p.m., it might still be affecting your sleep at 9 or 10 at night. Caffeine raises your heart rate, elevates your blood pressure, and reduces deep sleep, the kind your brain and blood vessels rely on to recover. So here's the simple shift. Instead of sipping coffee or green tea late in the day, try a calming alternative. Chamomile, rooibos, lemon balm, all caffeine-free and gentle on your nervous system. Even warm water with lemon can become a soothing evening ritual. And just like your meals or your walks, your bedtime should be consistent, even on weekends. Going to bed and waking up around the same time each day trains your body to stay in rhythm. Let's compare late caffeine and irregular sleep. Disrupted pressure, poor recovery, higher stroke risk, gentle herbal tea and steady sleep. Calm system, stable vessels, stronger brain. Which one sounds better? Because instead of tossing and turning through the night and waking up groggy, you could rise rested, balanced, and in control of your health. A good night's sleep isn't just a luxury. It's part of your brain's defense system. So tonight, turn off the screens, dim the lights, and choose a drink that helps your body rest, not resist. Let's talk about something you can't see, but you might be able to feel. Your heart rhythm. One of the most overlooked stroke risks in older adults isn't high cholesterol or even blood pressure. It's a condition called atrial fibrillation, or AFib for short. Have you heard of it? AFib happens when the upper chambers of your heart beat out of sync with the lower ones. Instead of a steady thump-thump, your heart might flutter, race, or skip. Sometimes it feels like anxiety. Sometimes you don't feel it at all. But here's the shocking part. AFib increases your risk of stroke 5-fold. That's right, 5 times higher. Why? Because when your heart beats irregularly, blood can pool in the upper chamber, and that pooled blood can form a clot. If that clot moves to your brain, it blocks oxygen. That's a stroke. The good news? It's detectable, it's treatable, and all it takes to start is your 2 fingers and a minute of quiet. Here's how. Sit down. Relax. Place your index and middle finger on the inside of your wrist, just below the base of your thumb. Press gently until you feel your pulse. Count the beats for 15 seconds, then multiply by 4 to get your heart rate. But don't just count. Listen to the rhythm. Is it steady? Like tick, tick, tick? Or does it feel uneven? Tick. Pause. Tick, tick. Skip. If it's irregular, don't panic. But don't ignore it either. Call your doctor and ask for an ECG. It's a quick, painless test that can confirm if your heartbeat is normal or not. And if you do have AFib, there are medications, procedures, even lifestyle changes that can dramatically reduce your risk. In fact, many strokes caused by AFib could be prevented if the condition were found in time. Let's compare. Not checking, silent AFib. Hidden risk, sudden stroke. Checking once a day, second awareness, early action, peace of mind. Which one gives you more control? This is a habit that takes less than a minute a day, but it could save your life, or the life of someone you love. So tomorrow morning, when you sit with your coffee or tea, take a breath, check your pulse, and listen to your body. Because sometimes the most powerful stroke prevention tool is already in your hands. Let me ask you something. When you're tired, hungry, and it's already past lunch, what do you reach for? Chances are, it's whatever's easiest. A snack from the pantry, a frozen meal, maybe something from the drive-thru. And who could blame you? When you're low on energy, decision-making gets harder. But here's the problem. Those quick, easy choices are often full of the very things we've been trying to avoid: salt, sugar, and processed fats. That's why planning ahead, even just a little, makes such a big difference after 65. Because stroke prevention isn't about willpower. It's about making the right choice, the easy choice. So here's a simple strategy. Prep to prevent. Take one day a week, maybe Sunday afternoon, and prepare a few heart-healthy meals or snacks in advance. Just 2 or 3 recipes, stored in your fridge, ready to grab when you need them. This one habit removes decision fatigue. It helps you stay consistent. And most importantly, it puts you in control of what goes into your body. Let's look at a few easy, senior-friendly ideas. First, fruit and nut salad cups. Just chop apples, pears, or grapes. Add a handful of blueberries or raspberries. Sprinkle some walnuts or almonds, maybe a dash of cinnamon. Store in small containers. Now you've got fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats ready to go. Next, overnight chia oats. Combine half a cup of rolled oats, a tablespoon of chia seeds, half a cup of unsweetened almond milk, and a few berries. Let it soak overnight in the fridge. In the morning, it's ready. No cooking, no stress. Want something savory? Prep a batch of quinoa with roasted veggies and olive oil, or boil eggs in advance. Keep them in the fridge with sliced tomatoes or avocado. These meals are colorful, satisfying, and support steady blood sugar and brain health. Now imagine this. Instead of standing in the kitchen wondering what to eat, you open your fridge, and there it is. Ready, simple, and stroke smart. That's the power of prep. So this week, give it a try. Pick just one meal to prepare ahead. Write a short grocery list. Keep it on your fridge. Make it easy for your future self to succeed. Because every small effort today is a gift to the you of tomorrow. Clearer, calmer, and more in control. When you think about stroke prevention, what comes to mind first? Food? Exercise, medications, those all matter. But there's something else, something quieter, that's just as powerful. Connection. Because here's what most people don't realize. Loneliness is a health risk. And for older adults, it can be just as harmful as smoking or poor diet. Let's be honest, aging can sometimes feel isolating. Friends move away. Kids get busy. Mobility changes. And before you know it, entire days pass without real conversation. But studies show that social isolation increases stroke risk by 32%. Not only that, it also slows recovery if a stroke does happen. Why? Because loneliness raises stress hormones like cortisol, which push up your blood pressure. It can chip away at motivation, making it harder to eat well, move more, or take medications. And it's closely tied to depression, which affects brain and heart health more than we often admit. So, what's the shift? Instead of going it alone, reach out. Join a walking group at your local community center. Volunteer once a week at the library, church, or food pantry. Call a friend every Wednesday, even just for 10 minutes. Sign up for a gentle yoga or Tai Chi class. Or join one of the many online groups built just for seniors who want to stay healthy and connected. It doesn't have to be loud or crowded. It just has to be shared. Let me tell you about Eleanor. She was 72 when she had a mini stroke. Lived alone, didn't drive, was scared to go outside, but her doctor told her to walk more. So she joined a senior center walking group. At first, she didn't talk much. Then she met Mary. They started walking together, sharing stories, checking on each other. 2 years later, Eleanor's blood pressure is stable. She's lost weight. And she says, more than anything, she feels seen again. That's the power of connection. So ask yourself, who's in your corner? Because stroke prevention doesn't always start with a salad or a step count. Sometimes it starts with a simple hello. And instead of feeling like you're facing it all on your own, you get to walk this journey together. If you've ever owned a car, you probably know when to check the oil. You wouldn't drive cross-country without a quick inspection, right? So here's the question. Why do we treat our cars better than our bodies? Especially after 65. Tracking your numbers, and I mean the simple, measurable signs of health, can make the difference between catching a warning early or facing a crisis too late. You don't need to be a doctor. You just need a notebook, a few minutes a week, and the willingness to check in. Let's walk through what matters most. Blood pressure. Aim for under 130/80. High blood pressure is the #1 controllable risk factor for stroke. Heart rate. Know your resting pulse, especially if you've noticed changes like dizziness, fatigue, or fluttering. Cholesterol. Focus on LDL, the bad cholesterol. Keeping it in check supports clean, flexible arteries. Blood sugar. Even if you're not diabetic, elevated glucose can raise your stroke risk over time. Weight and waist size. Carrying extra weight around the midsection increases risk of metabolic syndrome and inflammation. And then, don't forget the symptoms that might seem small. Vision changes, balance issues, sudden fatigue. They could be early signs of something deeper. Instead of waiting for your annual visit, start a simple health journal. Each week, jot down your pressure, your energy levels, your sleep quality, and anything unusual. And yes, your gut and gums matter too. Did you know gum disease is linked to inflammation in your arteries? Or that B vitamins, essential for brain health, are absorbed through digestion? That's why your dentist and eye doctor belong on your stroke prevention team just as much as your primary care physician. Let's compare. Not tracking, guessing, late detection, reactive care. Tracking weekly, pattern spotting, early action, peace of mind. Which feels more empowering? Because prevention isn't just about habits. It's about awareness. And the more you know about your own body, its rhythm, its signals, its changes, the more power you have to protect it. So take 5 minutes each week. Write it down. Watch for patterns. Bring your notes to your next checkup. That small effort could give you years of clarity, independence, and vitality. Take a deep breath. Think back over the past few minutes. What we've just covered isn't just information, it's a roadmap. One that leads to a stronger brain, a steadier body, and a more confident tomorrow. Because stroke doesn't wait for warning signs. But you don't have to wait either. Let's recap. Instead of skipping breakfast or grabbing sugary cereal, you now know how to start your day with brain-fueling oats, berries, and omega-3s. Instead of drinking juice or sweetened tea, you're choosing water first, staying hydrated, reducing risk with every sip. Instead of sitting after meals, you're walking gently, letting your body use its fuel wisely. Instead of reaching for the salt shaker, you're exploring bold, healing flavors from herbs, garlic, lemon, olive oil. You're sleeping better, skipping caffeine late in the day, and letting your body recover with calm, consistent rest. You've learned to feel your own pulse, to notice the rhythm of your heart, to listen to small signals before they become emergencies. You're prepping your meals, not just to save time, but to protect your future self. You've seen how friendships, even quiet ones, can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, and help you stick with healthy habits. And finally, you're not guessing anymore. You're tracking, observing, checking in, not just when something goes wrong, but so you can catch things early. That's a lot, isn't it? But here's the thing. You don't have to do it all at once. Just pick one habit. Start today. Because even the smallest step, when taken consistently, can change your trajectory. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you'll feel prepared. Instead of fearing the future, you'll be shaping it, one thoughtful choice at a time. Now, before we go, I have a favor to ask. If even one of these tips felt helpful, click the like button. It tells YouTube this is a message worth sharing. If you thought, that's me, or I want to try that, hit subscribe. We make videos every week just for you. Tools to help you live longer, feel better, and stay independent. And most of all, share this with someone you love. Because maybe your neighbor, your sister, your old friend from church, they don't realize how stroke prevention can start right now, right at home. Let's show them. And if you want to dive deeper, we've linked the next video, all about foods that protect your brain and blood vessels, right here on the screen. Until next time, stay curious, stay strong, and keep making choices that serve your future self. You've got this, and we're right here with you.